Hi, and welcome to the Fate of the Norns pre-generated character rundown. What we're going to do today is go over one of the brand new 2015 pre-gens, the druid named Metatags. So prior to Ragnarok, every single character had a day job. They were a merchant, a trader, a hunter, a builder. However, when Ragnarok hit and the sun and moon got devoured and the whole world went into turmoil, every single character that is a hero stepped up and embraced some sort of heroic archetype. And in this case, Metatags stepped up and his natural talents as a druid emerged. And so as a druid, you get 3 specializations to choose from. And this is a specialization that you would choose at the beginning of the game. So you could be the Warden of the Woods, the Child of Stars, or the Animist. And depending on the specialization that you take, you would bind your blank rune, your void rune, to one of the 3 columns down here. But we're going to get back to that later. Alright, jumping to the second page, we're going to get into the basics. There are 2 main attributes in Ragnarok, Essence and Destiny. Essence is everything that you are, your memories, your skills, your experiences, your spells and powers, and that's mechanically translated by the number of runes that you have in your bag. Destiny is the effect that you can cause on the world around you, and mechanically, that's the number of runes that you draw from your bag every time you need to start a new round of combat, do a skill check, or interact with the world in a meaningful way. Now, every single one of these runes that you see here is color-coded, and those are your attributes. So the more runes that you have of a certain color, the higher attribute. So red runes are physical, blue runes are mental, green runes are spiritual. And as you level up, you can choose to buy additional essence, which means new runes would enter your bag, and that's how you would raise your attributes. The other option when you level up is to raise your destiny as well. Now, destiny determines the number of actions that you have. So if you have a destiny of 2, you'll have 2 actions. Every rune maps to an action. And at rule 0, every action can be any cinematic action. So if you have 2 runes, you can perform 2 actions. Play a rune to move, play a rune to attack. If you had a destiny of 3, you could have 3 actions. And these actions could be anything cinematic that your character can conceivably pull off. So it creates for a very fluid system where your narrative is only limited by the number of runes that you can push forward this turn. Now, during one of the convention games, we had this town overrun by rampaging trolls, and one of the characters had 3 runes at their disposal. To give you an example of cinematic actions, they played the first rune to climb on top of this flaming longhouse. They played a second rune to run to the apex of the roof and launch themselves over the street. And they played the third rune to pull out their war maul and bring it down on one of the rampaging trolls' heads. So the possibilities of what you can pull off can be pretty epic. Now, going past cinematic actions to the next level of crunch, every single one of your powers is going to be bound to a specific symbol in your essence bag. So every rune is going to be mapped 1-to-1 to one of the powers that you know. If you have 4 essence, then you'll have 4 powers. And these are the active powers that you see listed here. We will get back to this void rune. By playing the specific rune with that symbol that's mapped to the power, you activate the power. Now, if you've got 2 or 3 runes, you can combine cinematic actions and your active powers. You can play a rune to move up to somebody, and then play another rune with a specific symbol that's mapped to the power you want to play to activate that power on that person you're next to. So we've covered cinematic actions. We've covered the next level of crunch, which are powers bound to specific symbols on runes. Now we take it up another level of crunch, which is combining runes to change the way powers work. And these are called metatags. Every single one of these powers has 3 colored words that indicate how a power changes when you add specific traits to that power. So if this character were to play his Mana's rune, which is bound to Forest's Gaze, and this is an ability that heals 4, and then another 4 the next time the person does a move action. So if he plays Mana's, he actually triggers Forest's Gaze, and he can combine this. So remember, this character's got 2, Destiny of 2, he could add a blue rune to change the way Forest Gaze works. So if you look, it says area in blue here. If you add a blue rune to Forest Gaze, he's going to encompass a large area around players. Now, if he were to play a green rune, and each one of these active powers only lasts for a certain amount of time, he would be able to maintain it past the end of turn. And all of these are described here in the meta tags. So you've got Amplify, Area, Maintain. There's a couple of others in the game, but this Druid build actually focuses on these 3 meta tags. So each one of these powers could be played independently. So you could say, I will use this rune to run up to an ally, and then I will play this rune to heal 4. Or you can combine the runes to change the way the runes work. And if you had, let's say, a Destiny of 3 instead of 2, there's nothing that would preclude you from saying, this Forest Gaze is not only maintained, but every turn it's going to hit this massive area around him. So this is the 3 levels of crunch. Never forget, every single one of these runes could be played for any one effect. It could be played for the effect that's listed here, and the runes can be combined to alter the effect of these powers. Now you've got passive powers. The passive powers are abilities that are always on. So if you play computer games, it's a pretty ubiquitous term. Active powers, you usually need to click a button or play your mouse, or click your mouse or your controller. Passive powers are always on. So that's the difference between active powers and passive powers. And for each one of your essence, you're going to be getting 1 active power, 1 passive power, and 1 skill rank. So in this case here, because we have 4, this character has 4 actives, 4 passives, and 4 skills. Skills are usually abilities that someone can do that take longer. So they're not something that was going to be done in a quick burst. All of these powers are also usable at will outside of combat. So there's not an effect that says, okay, if I use this, then I can't use it anymore for another 24 hours or inside that combat. If you draw this rune and you play this rune, you can do a Forest Gaze or a cinematic action. Now we get down to the bottom. There's a couple of pieces of equipment here and a description of the magic system that Metatags the Druid uses. So in this case, this is for Vanlung magic, and this is nature magic that differs from the other magic systems that are within the game. And I think that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, like it and subscribe down below. We're going to have more videos coming up for the new playmat, the new books that are being released, and for some of the new products that we've got going on in 2015. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.